Hi, this is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson. Look who is back here with us for his fourth adjustment today, Marshall. Now, you guys have heard me talking about what the Johnson technique does to take compressive stress off of the nerves that cause lumbosacral radiculopathy. Marshall came in here the very first time when he was referred here by the VA, and he had phantom pain, which means he had lumbosacral radiculopathy down in his lower limbs, which he lost in the Iraq War. And we want to thank him again for his great service and sacrifice to this country. And like I said many times before, these veterans deserve the very best of what America's got to offer. And you guys are witnessing some history here today, because we have some neuroscientists, PhDs here, fellow chiropractors in the state of Texas. One's a delegate to the ACA in Washington, D.C. The other one's chiropractor for the Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners in Austin. And we have been getting prepared and lining up the dominoes, if you will, to get scientifically refereed, published studies done on the spinal Johnson technique. And Marshall, would you mind telling them how you have felt from the very first day and through now getting this manual spinal decompression done?
Yes, sir. It was life-changing for me. When the first time I came in, I could barely move. Phantom pain. I felt like my feet were standing on two skillets all the time, every day, 24/7. When I finally got my first decompression done, it instantly, I knew that that's what I needed. And I went from having severe phantom pain to the first time in my life having phantom feeling. And I've always heard of amputees talking about phantom feeling, and I've never had it until my first adjustment. And it went from being painful to, oh, I can deal with this. And that has been my most extreme, that's what changed everything for me.
Well, and how important is it to you and your fellow veterans that scientific research be done on this technique to show the government, the NIH, National Institutes of Health, and Department of Veterans Affairs that there are better alternatives for you guys than just taking medications and getting injections and having surgeries?
Absolutely.
But you've had all those, right?
Yes, sir. Every one of them. I've had injections, multiple surgeries, been on more pain pills than you can count, and nothing helped. I mean, it took it away for a little bit, but at the end of the day, it was still the same. And I mean, just in my opinion, for the guys that are in the wheelchairs, I mean, it should be mandatory to have this done. It has changed my life so much. Just in 4 weeks, I've gone from barely being able to move to actually
smiling, having a good time again,
grabbing things, being able to climbing in and out of my trailer, and be a person.
When you're interacting with your family even better too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, marriage and yep.
Yeah, get to play with my son, actually get to do things and not feel like, I'm bound. Yeah, and I'll tell you, one thing that I have to say is I felt like a compressed accordion, and then when I left, I didn't. And that's been so life-changing, being uncompressed, and that's what's made my phantom pain go away. I truly believe that.
So when people ask you how you spell relief, you go ring dinger.
Yep, I do. I tell everyone.
That's good. That's great, man. Well, we tell everyone about you too, and we implore the Department of Veterans Affairs and the NIH to start embarking upon this scientifically revolutionary work for our veterans and for all people who are suffering from compression of the nerves, creating lumbosacral radiculopathy, which is what happens in the vertebral subluxation complex, or biomechanical improprieties of the spine and pelvis. So, Scott, would you mind coming over and sharing with our viewers the neuroscience behind what we were just talking about with the biomechanical improprieties in the lumbosacral spine and SI joints, creating lumbosacral radiculopathy. And you've been participating in research already up in Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Yes, I have. What I think a lot of people may not realize is the spine, when it compresses, the intervertebral foramina will enclose and encroach on what we call the nerve root. And I think in many instances that may be misconstrued as phantom pain,
right,
especially with amputees. And what I truly believe in this instance, in many instances of the people you treat, you're able to decompress that nerve root,
right,
and open that intervertebral foramina up. And
that's really what all chiropractic does, but especially this technique.
Yes, and so what's happening is you're literally getting that neural response back that was not available before the decompression.
And now we have an objective way to measure that
Absolutely.
too, don't we?
Well, it's the same technique that's been used in intraoperative monitoring for the last 30 years, using evoked potential responses, measuring the nerve latencies, the time period of the nerve to the brain, where we can monitor in time periods in the refractory period of the nerve to respond.
Right,
yes.
which you can actually do in live time.
Absolutely,
even.
absolutely, sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the doctors, neurosurgeons and orthopedic spine surgeons, they use that when they're doing spine surgeries on people, don't
that's
they?
how they determine when they are able to get the herniation or the fragment off the nerve, and that the nerve is responding to latencies.
Right.
So, in essence, we will use.
So it's already being used scientifically in the medical
for the
profession.
last nearly 40 years. So, using that technology to show that with this technique, you're able to open up the foramina and decompress the nerve root.
Right,
Yes.
the same way as they're doing in surgery, only non-surgically.
Exactly.
Which is really what the difference between chiropractic and medicine is that we do things
Non-surgical.
without drugs or surgery. And I think there's a huge paradigm shift in the healthcare mindset of America today, don't you?
Well,
Wanting to get away from drugs and surgeries all the time to finding more natural resources to get out of their pain and
well, and if you
dysfunction.
remember, early as 15 to 20 years ago,
Yes,
the standards of treating back pain was with opioids.
right,
Now we know how successful that was,
right. That's why we're in a crisis these days.
Exactly. So now that we are showing that you can get treatments and scientific response without having to use opioids and or drugs,
Right.
there's your answer.
That's right. That's right. Dr. White, come on over here. Dr. Dale White's also a longtime friend and colleague of mine. He's up in Fort Worth, and he's your Fort Worth chiropractor. Good to see you as always, my friend. Let me get this here. Yeah. Dr. White also was involved with this major research project that was done through the Osteopathic College up in Dallas, Fort Worth area, right?
In Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth, yeah. And would you mind sharing with him a little bit about yours and Dr. Wolford's experience with that measuring and what chiropractic adjustments did to improve the status of that objectively?
Well, a few years ago, we did a study that was actually published in Spine Magazine. It referred to it as osteopathic manipulative technique, and there were osteopaths that did some of the manipulation adjustments, as we call it, on patients, but I did a number of them, probably the majority of them actually.
Yeah, because they weren't able to elicit the same response with some of their manipulations as you were with a more specific adjustment.
Yes,
The high velocity, low amplitude thrust.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the chiropractic adjustment.
Right.
And we take the joint more through the range of motion than
To
they
its
do.
fullest range of motion. That's where
That's
we get
exactly
the cavitation when we go past the paraphysiological space to the anatomical integrity of the ligament, and that's what gets us the results that
That's
we
exactly
get.
right. And of course, we're trained to do it that way.
Right.
And that's how we do it. So we got very good results on a number of patients. We would have patients that had nerve impingement, and we would remove that impingement with the adjustment. With the
Non-surgically.
Non-surgically, and we could show that on the instrument that we use to test it,
Yes.
the evoke potential.
Which is the same one we'll be using in our research on
Which is the
this.
same exact one we're gonna be
Right, it's
using.
an interoperative mechanism.
Except we're like 3 models down the road.
Right,
now.
right.
And everything's miniaturized as compared to back then. The machines were, they take up half this room, and
Well, you
now
guys
they're
are
about
actually,
the size of a cell phone.
right, that's good. You guys are actually seeing history unfold before your very eyes today with this YouTube video. We have some very important people here at the office today, and we'll be meeting all day today and tomorrow and tonight with them regarding this revolutionary new technique that is allowing patients to get rid of lumbosacral radiculopathy without the use of drugs and or surgery, if that's their choice.
That's right.
And it's medically necessary.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
In 4 weeks, I've had more pain relief than I've had in 10 years, bar none.
Well, that
That's
just
good.
pretty much tells the whole story right there.
That just in 4 weeks.
And compared to 10 years, right?
10 years of trying to figure out why I'm hurting this bad, and in 4 weeks I have made more leaps in that 4 weeks than I did in twice than I did in that 10 years.
Well, and that's only 4 visits in 4 weeks.
Yep.
That's not daily or 3 times a week.
Yeah, so 4 times over
Total.
Yeah, and I have had vastly more relief in my day-to-day and being able to do everything than I did in 10 years of searching for everything I could. And even going to other chiropractors, I couldn't even get the relief. And day one, I'm gonna come here forever.
Well, thank you so much for sharing
So everybody
your
out
story.
there that has these problems should come and see doctors using the Johnson technique.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's changing my life, honestly.
Well, what we're accomplishing right now is we are making this actually the standard of care for the chiropractic profession. That's what we're attempting to do with all
That's what
this.
we're working towards.
That's right. And it takes a lot of effort and a lot of collaboration and a lot of work and a lot of money to do that. We appreciate y'all calling your United States senators and representatives and having them get with the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and encouraging them and the National Institutes of Health to do this scientific research on this technique, because
Really important.
it's really important, not just for veterans, but for the entire population of people out there these days who are having to undergo the opioid crisis and trying to get off those opioids.
Exactly.
And that's how come we became a nation of opioid crisis, is they were just, that was the standard of care for medicine for years, wasn't it? To prescribe opioids
Yes, it
for
was.
back pain and lumbosacral radiculopathy or sciatica.
That was their treatment.
And still is a lot of times. They're getting away from that now
Yeah.
because it's mandated that they're doing
They're
that.
working on it.
Yeah. So, the whole thing is that the chiropractic profession and the medical profession should be working hand in hand together for the patient's best outcomes, not being at odds like it has been for the whole time we've been in chiropractic, right?
Yeah, we're not in competition. All we want is to get the patient better, whatever it takes to get the patient better. That's
And that's
all we care about.
outcomes.
And that's outcomes.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
And we're not bad-mouthing medicine by any means, because guess what? If you get shot in the chest or the head, there's no adjustment in the world I can do for that. Or if you have colon cancer, I don't deal with those things. But what we do deal with is biomechanical improprieties and neurological dysfunction of the spine and nervous system, and we do that quite well.
We're the best in the world at it.
That's right. So let's show them how we did that, Marshall. We'll
Sir.
quit talking though, so I want to say quit talking and get cracking. Let's do this one first. Did you see all the wonderful comments on your very first video?
I'll be honest, I haven't even watched it.
Oh man.
My wife has. She
Well, I'm
loves
telling
it.
you, it'll bring tears to your eyes. Okay, somebody was standing on my cord down here, Bruce. Now, I'm still elevating Marshall's femurs up here because it changes the biomechanical configuration of the lumbar spine. It flattens it out, relaxes the lumbosacral musculature. There we go. Get here. Okay, nice deep breath. Just like that. Yes, sir. Okay. Keep still. Now, when I get this done, you should be able to feel your blood flowing all the way down into your phantom feet right now.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Just like that. Doesn't get any better than that, my friend. Okay, let me help you up here. There we go.
Oh, wow.
All right. Now that's a wow adjustment, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I really want to thank Marshall for doing these videos and sharing his life experience with his condition and all he's been through, because he's an inspiration to us and should be to millions of Americans. And I know you're an inspiration to other veterans. There we go. We just would really like for the Department of Veterans Affairs to step up to the plate and fund this research in conjunction with the National Institutes of Health. So I did this way just a bit, so that we can finally put to bed the age-old question about chiropractic. Does it have any scientific research to back it up? Well, yes, we do. It's just been done by different companies because of funding. Let's turn you on your back now, please, sir. All right. Yep, got that already. Good. Yes, sir. And see, I'm still adjusting him three-dimensionally to get his head up over his spine so that he still doesn't have that anterior weight-bearing compressive stress down his spine. Slide down about a half an inch, Mark, and put both arms straight out, palms up. There you go. Good. Okay. Very good. Do you have any last words you'd like to say to Veterans Administration or NIH about this?
No, I just want to tell all my other fellow veterans, just remember, life happens, and keep your head up, smile.
Well, I think you've done phenomenal, and you've serviced and sacrificed so much for this country. We owe you everything, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I truly love what I did.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. We love you.
Thank you.
All right. This is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, coming to you from Advanced Chiropractic Relief in Houston, Texas, where we originated the Johnson chiropractic technique. We'll see y'all next time.